the consumption propensity to consume is much higher in Kinshasa, because people want to live that affluent lifestyle. They'll want to associate with the lifestyle of brand. While when you go to the center part of it, the Kasai region, which is Kananga and Bujimai, it's more of an agricultural region. This is the breadbasket state of DRC. Yes, it was a rich diamond area previously in the past regime, but today is considered as one area that has immense opportunity for agriculture. And this is an area that now may want to invest or to have their products there. Agriculture products, let's say like the seeds, the agrochemicals, fertilizers. This is an area that one can focus on. The northern part, which is the equatorial region, is a far-flung area. Quite difficult to move in because logistically it is a problem. As you see on this map, we don't have direct routes from one point to the other, from east to west. In my next slide, I'll be able to share with you the logistic route, so that as an exporter, you must know exactly where is your target market. Is it in Goma, Kalemi, or Bunia? Or do you want Kinshasa? Or do you want Kolwezi? So you must also understand that the local administrations have an influence in each of those regions. As I mentioned, we have 26 provinces and with governors. So that means that they determine local taxes, they determine road fees and levies, they determine engagement or extent in which products come or to their region. So governance and institutionalization, very important to take into consideration. So do not expect what is happening in Goma is what is happening in Kinshasa. Do not expect what is happening in Lubumbashi to be similar to what is taking place in Kananga or Bujimai. These local authorities have immense powers to establish or to influence the business environment. So from there, then we look at how can we access these 5 economic poles. We now look at the logistics. This is an old map. Does not really reflect what is the current state, but it gives us an understanding that DRC is very vast. So for those who want to focus on the eastern flank, and the eastern flank is Bunia, Goma, and Kalemi, you must understand that there are several routes in which you may need to exploit. If it is Goma, you either get your cargo through Uganda and through the border point of Bunagana, or it goes through to Rwanda and gets through to Goma direct. If it is Bunia, you need to exploit the upper side of Mahagi, the border point of Mahagi. And if it is Kalemi, you have to cross through Tanzania, through Lake Tanganyika to take your cargo. Now, the eastern flank is not served by road, or there's no road connection from the eastern flank to the western part of it. So for you who is thinking about the eastern flank, then you should concentrate on that region and establish your contacts and network. If you want to move your cargo now to Kinshasa or Lubumbashi, you have to use by air freight, which again is very expensive. So we are somehow limited because of the expansive nature of this country. But for an exporter, he has to decide at the initial phase where exactly he wants to set up base. If it is the southern part, then he must know that he has to come through Zambia, Tanzania and Zambia, get to Lubumbashi. But again, there's no road that is connecting direct to Kinshasa. So again, there's difference always for an air freight to carry the goods to Kinshasa. But the good thing is this, that the air freight, the charges are highly subsidized by the government. A kilo of cargo is charged around $1, $1.2, which makes it at least convenient, affordable to business people. But again, this also informs the pricing in the destined market. You will see in my later presentation that the Eastern flank is quite accessible or easily accessible from East African community. The pricing might be affordable. But as you go further west or south, the pricing changes and becomes more expensive. So in a nutshell, you establish your ideal market destination, know exact which route you're going to use. If it is from Kenya to Kinshasa, that is an air freight from either Nairobi, or it comes through Goma by road, and then you put by air freight. But there are challenges to that effect, which are most likely to do with cargo clearance and facilitation on the part of the exporter. So this is the snapshot of how DRC is. So even the railway that we are seeing is just serving a few areas. But again, there's a lot of inefficiencies in that mode of transport. So what people are also trying to do is to exploit from Bunia, you take them to Kisangani. And if you want to take them to Kinshasa, you consider the river, the water corridor. And from Kisangani to Kinshasa is over 4,600 kilometers. So by water, it's quite cheap, yes, but again, it comes with their own risks. Now, in a nutshell, that is what I was just sharing with you, that from, let's say, Nairobi to Kisangani, it's over 1,854 kilometers. Through Vira, Rwanda is over 2,243. So we are expecting to have the Northern Corridor project extended from Uvira in Burundi to Kisangani. And we believe that that will open up much of the eastern part of DRC. The discussion on the same, the funding, and they are still ongoing. We do hope they will be concluded as soon as possible. Now, business opportunities and market access. Kinshasa itself has over 20 million people. When you look at Kinshasa, you look at or compare with Goma. Goma has around 6 million people. And Bunia was also around 4 million people. It brings to about almost 28 million people in the eastern flank. Those are 3 provinces. But Kinshasa itself has over 20 million consumers. So the most important thing in DRC now is, how do people survive? The poverty levels vis-a-vis the income is quite far apart. So the local people or the lower cadre citizen may always wish to survive a day. And statistics have shown that they earn about $2 in a day. So for them, they'll want food products. Food and food products will make sense to them so that at least they're able to survive. Now, Kinshasa, as you look at it, it has a different taste and preference. Lifestyle is quite different from Goma. Then they will go, this market is a market that may go for quality informed by quality. But because of survival, people may want to have products, the fast moving consumer goods, just to make them survive. The thing is this, the Kinshasa market, though with opportunity, has also business people from Lebanon and also from India. So what they've done, they have built up the wholesale and supply chain. The distribution is highly established by them. We, as Kenyans now, we need to also come in, establish our own wholesale and retail chain, the distribution, so that at least we are able to have our product visible in this market. Consider this. DRC imports over around 1.5 billion to 3 billion food products. All these come from, a substantial part of it come from the southern part of Africa, that is South Africa and Zambia. It comes from Brazil. Beef comes from Argentina. Chicken also comes from Brazil. We also have beef that comes from Spain. We have fish that comes from Angola and Namibia. It shows, this import statistics shows where the government is putting priority. So in their budgeting, there's sufficient amount of money that's set aside for the people in that market. DRC again has no seeds that are certified. There are no seeds that are generated in the market. If you look at the agriculture sector, we got seed from Europe, we got seeds from America or USA. We also got seeds from France, which again creates an opportunity for this market, for our seeds and agriculture products companies. You look at the real estate, the housing demand has been projected to be 4 million units per year. But what DRC can meet is only 265,000 houses per year. This demand has also led to scarcity of building materials. In DRC, a wholesale price of a standard 50-kilogram bag of cement, the strength class, costs around $10. The eastern part of DRC, at least for them, Goma, Bunia, they depend from the local production and also from the exports from Kenya. But in Kinshasa, this is a challenge, $10 per bag of cement. If you come to the roofing sheet, it's around $9, quite expensive. If you get to the tiling floors and the ceramic floor tiling, it's around $19 per square meter. So this has generally impacted on the cost of living in DRC and the housing sector. But this creates also an opportunity for our steel companies to penetrate this market. It also creates an opportunity for us to have our building products also in this market. So there's a whole lot of demand and the business opportunities are immense. How you want to get to this market now, again, it depends in which economic zone you want to focus. And how to move about it, now again, it depends with the logistics. Now, we have looked at the economic zones. We are now looking at the prices of the products. In DRC, Kinshasa, I started with Kinshasa. We have tea from UK, Sri Lanka, of course, Kenya is there, Netherlands, India, South Africa. Majority of exporters have asked me, Eric, I want to come to DRC, I want to sell tea. And I told them, look, we have a similar lifestyle between DRC and Kenya in the eastern flank on tea consumption. Kinshasa is quite different. So for Kinshasa market, they don't take to tea a lot. But what I feel can move fast is the iced tea, the specialized tea, the iced tea that somebody can take when it's cold, because Kinshasa is very hot. On the other hand, Kinshasa, they consume a lot of coffee. Also in the eastern part of DRC, they consume a lot of coffee. So when you look at this, you'll see that in Kinshasa, yes, we have tea, but again, we still also have tea from other market sources like Sri Lanka, India. They are also here. But again, that is only perpetuated because of the wholesale and retail supply chain players. The Indians, because of their ability, they are able to bring huge consignments of tea and other products to Kinshasa. And that's why they're able to dominate the market shelf. If you look at the cosmetics, the pricing also is indicative of a market in Kinshasa that is also good, ready for products, quality products from Kenya. I was doing my own assessment and I found out that body lotions cost around $6 to $53. And you can imagine China, Netherlands, US, and Canada, Belgium, and UAE have a foothold in this market. So in Kinshasa, that taste, that preference in that market. But I strongly believe, is because our cosmetic products have not hit the shelf in Kinshasa. I think because of their quality, I believe because of the quality of our cosmetic products and the affordable prices, we can still penetrate this market. Another area that also has raised concern is about the dairy products. Majority of people come from Kenya, they come to Kinshasa, they'll always ask, or they'll always question why they're given powder milk in hotels. There are historical, or there are some reason behind this. Number one, Kinshasa is very hot. Packet milk may not necessarily make it because, again, the shelf life and the hot weather, they might go bad. Powder milk, because of historical consumption of powder milk, taste and preference, it has a foothold. But this also gives us an opportunity also to exploit powder milk from Kenya to this market. Look, a milk of 900 grams, powder milk is around $10, while that of 2,500 grams is around 26 US dollars. So it's a matter of how do we get our products to this market? How do we now take even the local citizen, I mean, even through the hotels, preparation of our products so that they could see there's no difference. I strongly believe that our powder milk from Kenya can access this market because there's also high demand. Fish, as I mentioned, comes from China and Angola, and catfish costs around $7.6 per kg. Now, tilapia does not have a good market in Kinshasa, just because, again, the prices of tilapia are very high. So majority of Congolese and Kenyan kids, majority of Congolese will prefer to eat catfish and mackerel. And also the fish that comes from Namibia and Angola. So the taste and preference here dictate. As I mentioned, people who are in Kinshasa, the citizen in Kinshasa, their number one goal is to survive. The majority of them is to survive. So they will always want to get those products that are quality, but again, affordable. So this fish, the catfish, they are quite moving products in Kinshasa market. For beef, I'm sorry, my slide for beef and goat meat is not seen, but I can just explain. A kilogram of 1 kg of goat meat goes for around $30 in Kinshasa. And meat is around $10 per kg. So the thing is this, because of the costly nature of the beef and goat meat in Kinshasa, it out of way of the majority of consumers. But I can assure you, they have got a great appetite for beef. The only thing is that it's very expensive. I believe with our quality beef from Kenya, and if we address our logistics to DRC, Kinshasa, then we are able to penetrate this market because our beef has good prices. Even if we add on that cost of beef, the logistic costs and everything, we can still penetrate this market. As for chicken, it comes from Brazil, and they come in ships, full containers. Kinshasa, it costs around 8 to 10. So chicken is highly consuming at Kinshasa because, again, majority of consumers prefer that because it is easily accessible and they can get it. But chicken produced in Kinshasa, in DRC, is not enough. Is not enough. We are getting our chicken from Brazil. We are getting our chicken from Mexico to the shelves of Kinshasa. So this is just a snapshot of the market displays. You can see we have these plastic containers. They are around 26,100 Congolese francs, which is around $10. This plastic, one plastic. If you look at this cosmetic, you can see this cosmetic from the US. This was the highest that I saw from the US, and is in a supermarket, cost around $53. If you look at these other ones that coming from China, all these are found in the supermarket. Our Ketepa tea has managed to penetrate this market in Kinshasa. You can see Safari and other Ketepa products. But as I told you earlier, Kinshasa, they don't consume a lot of tea. A lot of black tea is consumed in the East. So even our penetration in this market is also good because we have a substantial number of Kenyans who are also in this market and also other expatriates who have a preference for Kenyan tea. That is for Kinshasa market. But again, the profit margins, the pricing margins are also high because in Kinshasa, there's also high taxes, both the national, provincial, and municipal taxes. This Ketepa tea, Safari tea, is costing around 23,300, is almost $10. While we have affordable tea from Lipton from South Africa, which is also preferred by Congolese because I think of their penetration in this market. What I was surprised is that we don't have value-added coffee from Kenya. In the supermarket I visited, there's no value-added coffee. And I believe the value-added coffee can also penetrate this market. We have Nescafe, but I don't consider Nescafe so much as a Kenyan product. But other value-added specialty coffee, we can have them in this market. Now, on this table, I've done a comparison of Lubumbashi and Goma. Goma in the eastern flank, Lubumbashi in the southern flank. You can see the price differentials. On my initial slide, Kinshasa is very much high. But on Lubumbashi and Goma, the difference is a little bit small. You can see for instance, tea, it varies with the size of tea from $2 to around $9 in Lubumbashi, while in Goma it's around $3 to $6. I'm being told by my colleague in Goma that tea from Kenya is more dominant in that market. And this explains about the logistics of moving cargo from Kenya and the eastern part of Uganda to Goma. That's why we have our tea. But what surprises me also is that our market space in Goma and Lumumbashi are eroded by competitive products from Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda. That is for Goma, and Lumumbashi for Zambia and South Africa. For instance, the dairy products are still the dominant product on the shelf market in Goma. On milk are from Rwanda and very expensive. Nido of 900 grams goes for around $30, while long life is around 2.8. Lumumbashi has that similar range, but you can see also for the price disparity. Either the Nido that the powder milk that gets to Lumumbashi comes from South Africa because of that price variation, or the powder milk in Goma that is in that market is somehow scarce because that price differential also is indicative of underlying factors. When you get to fish, Zambia, South Africa, Angola, and Namibia are highest suppliers of fish to Lumumbashi. However, in Goma, we have our fish products from Lake Turkana that are very dominant, and the people there have a like for it. When you look at beef and goat meat in Goma, in Lumumbashi is around $21.7 per kg. Beef is around $9 to $10 or to $11 per kg, while beef in Goma is around $8. The interesting thing about this market of Goma, all the beef comes from Rwanda. You can imagine the current scenario that we are having borders closed, but again, this product are still accessing that market. While in Zambia, in Lumumbashi, the prevalent those markets are Zambia and Tanzania, and also South Africa. But Zambia, they really have a strong foothold in that market. Chicken, this varies. In Goma, we have also chicken from South Africa, Zambia, South Africa. They are dominating. But look at the prices again, quite different. In Goma, because of the conflict, probably there's some scarcity and movement of goods, and that's why you see the prices are very high. But in Lumumbashi, it's fairly stable. The consumption is quite stable. And also the income on part of the locals is at least better than in Goma. So in terms of propensity consume, those in Lumumbashi have much higher propensity to consume than those in Goma. So that is a snapshot, the pricing in the two markets. But you can see the dominant source markets: China, France, Netherlands, USA, Mexico, Canada, Belgium. When you get to pharmaceuticals, it's even worse. We get pharmaceutical products from India, Germany, France. They have dominated the shelves of pharmacies in Kinshasa. Now, how do we now proceed to get our products to this market? One thing you should, as exporters, need to take into consideration is know this, that one, we have the national government in DRC and the provincial governments. They all have a say in their own jurisdiction, but nationally, the national government gives, the laws are applicable, are uniform. But on the provincial governments, there are a lot of disparities. So what is applied in Lumumbashi is not necessarily what is applied in Goma. But the good thing is this, that at least for those who want to ship to DRC, for products that have a value that is below 2,500, at least that one, there's no pre-shipment inspection. But for those who feel they can get to the sensitive sectors products for these markets, like food products, they can as well apply for import duty exemption certificate. Remember, theirs is 100 million plus people. The government priority is to feed their people, to ensure that they are accessing food. So they will always look forward to have this import duty exemption on food products, agriculture products, that includes seeds and equipment. But for those who are bringing more than 2,500 goods value, they need to have a pre-shipment inspection. I'll want to emphasize on the market entry requirement a little bit. Back home, things or information is easily accessible. In DRC, is not accessible as that. The thing is that even if information is accessible, it is in French. How many of our exporters can translate that from from French to English? It's quite difficult. My own assessment and interaction with the exporters from Kenya is that you come first, establish the requirements. I have moved forward on my level as a trade attaché. I've written also for the country here to consider what we call advanced ruling, that somebody can share what he wants to bring to DRC and be guided by the revenue authority in DRC on how much taxes he's going to pay, how much duty is going to pay, so that by the time the products get to the point of entry at the border, he is not subjected to different rates. It's very important that an exporter has to firm up this with an agent who can assist them at the port of entry, or they can as well write to us from the embassy, and we pursue this so that we know exactly how much he needs to pay, so that we don't have problem at the port of entry. Oh, sorry. So, I mentioned earlier that there's always that fee that you need to pay. And for anyone who is bringing cargo, of course, that certification will be informed by the cost, the CFI, and this cannot be changed. But I've had experience by several exporters to this market that when they get to the border point, is told by a custom representative, custom official, let me see your product first. That sometimes has placed them in awkward position because that assessment gives the custom official an opportunity to determine how much he'll charge you. And sometimes it's a back and forth thing. And this subjective assessment sometimes work against our people. So it's good to ensure that we work backwards. We try as much as possible establish how much we need to pay for these rates and internal charges. Again, I've been asked, how do we as Kenyan entities access the import license? So once you have also registered in DRC, you can apply for an import license from the Directorate General of Administrative Revenues, so that you are able also to facilitate the movement of your goods in an easier way. But I'll advise at this moment, the downstream or the last mile delivery, let it be handled by Congolese. It is much more easier for Congolese to engage the local ones. the local official. But for we as exporters, it's better when you negotiate with a prospective buyer in DRC, let them know that you'll do your deliveries up to the airport level, at the point of entry. And from there, let him handle. Majority of Congolese who are doing business, they always prefer that engagement. But if you as a Kenyan feel that you can come, establish your base here, have an import license, yes, it may work for you, but it may not work for you again in some instances. The process is very complex, bureaucratic. You'll be vulnerable to extortions that do not make sense. So I'll always add that we have exporters engaging the prospective buyers in this end so that they will handle the last mile delivery. Also know that all documents are in French. Good interpretation of this document will also ease off pressure from you. So it's very important for you to take that into consideration as an exporter. So, of course, as a country, at the point of entry, the efficiency is low. I can assure you that the efficiency is low. And I just want to prepare you to know that what we have back home may not really be what we expect in our port of entry. So it's good to know that when you are doing your packaging, please pack them well, taking into consideration or in mind that there's a tropical heat here, moisture, pests, and there's rough handling. I've had a Kenyan who brought things to the DRC market, and those big containers were mishandled at the port of entry in Matadi. Imagine getting a container totally mishandled. There are holes in that container because the inefficiency and the equipments are wanting. Also know that when you want to bring your cargo to Kinshasa, bear in mind, the port that you normally hear, the Matadi port, is a river port. It's not an ocean port. It's not on Atlantic. So that means that if you bring a cargo either by port to a destined market of, let's say, Kinshasa, it will have to go to the Point Noir in Congo-Brazzaville, offloaded to smaller vessels so that the smaller vessel can go upstream over a distance of around 80 miles to port of Matadi. And again, the inefficiency there, they will lead to delays of your product. Secondly, we have been working with Kenya Airways to ensure that we have a freighter. And it's high time that we'll need to engage further to ensure that the rates are good. There's always a freighter from Nairobi to Kinshasa, Nairobi to Lumumbashi, at least once in a week. But KQ have gone an extra mile and given us a wide body aircraft that they can carry also cargo, which is flying weekly to Kinshasa and Lumumbashi. For Goma, it's served by a Jumbo Jet. And I can attest that Jumbo Jet have been moving a lot of flowers from Nairobi, cut flowers, fresh flowers from Nairobi to Goma. Again, when they get to Goma, because the buyers, these sites wanted them to be shipped to Goma, they are freighted by air to Kinshasa. And Kinshasa is proving to be a very lucrative market for cut flowers. So we have constantly engaged Kenya Airways, and below the contacts of one of the Kenya Airways cargo manager, Madam Lois Bewa, whom can engage you, can tell you how we can package your product and share with you further insights on moving your cargo to DRC. Now, how do we establish or penetrate this market? We must appreciate the role of equity-based DSA. Equity-based DSA and Trust Merchant Bank are all affiliated to Kenyan banks in Kenya, with the Trust Merchant Bank affiliated to KCB. What we have done, we have established a rapport that I can get to equity and get prospective buyers, organize business-to-business meeting between Congolese importers and Kenyan exporters. That one we can do. KCB, through Trust Merchant Bank, they have also said they are keen to support us in terms of even having B2B meetings, so as to get reliable and diligent buyers in DRC market. Through them, we have been able to access the supermarkets. We have had delegations coming from Kenya, and by a phone call, I could easily call equity-based DSA, and they organize for that meeting. With supermarkets, people are able to engage the supermarkets management and see how best they can work it and deliver their goods. We have the Chamber of Commerce, the local Chamber of Commerce. We have the business membership organization here, local of them, and happy, who are willing to work with us. But I want to also mention something, that DRC is still growing in terms of the financial sector. It's not like Kenya, whereby you can give letters of credit and you are supplied the good. Unfortunately for DRC, it's a cash economy. I see the goods and I give you cash and I pay you and everything is done. The deal is done. That is it. That has been an issue that majority of our exporters may not understand about this market. So they will say, I want to see the good, I want to buy. And truly speaking, they will buy the goods once they see it. But when you tell them, oh, you send a letter of credit and whatever, it's somehow difficult. But the good thing is this, that Equity and Trust Merchant Bank help us build on a customer base that they also know. They are able also to give us clients who are able to formalize their transaction. So that is a plus for us as a country, and we need to exploit that Equity and BCDC confront their prospective buyers and we engage them. Market competitors. As I mentioned earlier, we have Lebanese and Indians who are dominant players in distribution, wholesale, and retail sectors. I've been longing for a Kenyan wholesale and retail sector player to invest in DRC. For instance, the eastern part of the eastern zone, where we have Goma, Bunia, and Kalemi. In Bunia, we have only one major supermarket that is selling product, and it's not that big, and it's owned by Indians. Yet that is a market that we can exploit and have our commercial presence of wholesale and retail sector players in that market. Another thing is also to keep in mind that the neighbors of the country also influence product visibility. Uganda and Rwanda, they are much closer to DRC, and because of that, their products easily access that market. We, on the other part, also, we can still access the market as long as we have a consistent, reliable supply chain to that market. Another thing is that construction materials, as I mentioned, from Turkey, India, and China, while textile and apparel from Belgium, France, and USA, that is for Kinshasa market. We can access the market for textile and apparels in Bunia and Lumumbashi, going by the taste and preference they have. I'm looking forward to see Vivo opening up a shop in Kinshasa and Lumumbashi. Progressively, we can penetrate this market. The seed market, as I mentioned, also from Zambia, Europe, and USA. I want to challenge also the seed players or manufacturers in Kenya, the agrochemicals. It's now high time that we come to this market. There's been a lot of restriction of seed, certification of seeds in DRC, but the country is opening up. Over 100 million people want to eat per day, yet food is coming out of the country. So what we have done as an embassy, we are working closely with the Ministry of Agriculture in DRC. And to be more specific, the agency in charge of agriculture promotion. What we can do, we can test our seeds in this market. We can test our agrochemicals so that we enhance that penetration. Let's work with them. Kenya Seed has already set base in DRC, and they're progressively engaging farmers and cooperatives. I believe if we take that step and with proper guidance from our office, we can get good partners that we can work together and enhance our population, enhance our product penetration. But as we conclude, where's DRC market in the context of AfCFTA? Now, if you look at this map, DRC has 9 neighbors. 9 neighbors. And we believe once our product gets to DRC market, it is easily access the Central African Republic market, the Republic of Congo market, and the Angola market. We strongly believe that the quality of our products, the prices or the cost of our products, which are not very high, can easily have a footprint in this market. It's a dollarized economy. This is a market where you go to a supermarket, you share your dollars, you are given change as dollars. At the same time, you're given Congolese franc as dollars. I mean, this is a market that we cannot afford. The taste and preference are the same with Kenya. Even for manufacturers, it means the adjustment cost to production will not be high. We do not need to fear, take up the risk and come to this country. It's now the best time to set up in this country. The standards, issues of standards, DRC is a member of the International Standards Body, and they recognize the standards that we have as a country in this market. So the issue of standards may not really be a barrier, but rather may complement our efforts to access this market. What do we do as an embassy? Both the consulate in Goma and the embassy in Kinshasa. One, we do business advisory. I mean, just check in as an exporter who is coming to this market. Your number one's top place is the embassy. We'll share with you. Tell us what you feel you think you need to bring in this market. We'll be able to share with you. We also do support issues of due diligence. Sometimes there are those in the service sector, there are those who want to understand whether that is a genuine buyer. We can support you in that, as well as get more information about the prospective buyer. We also share information. We also come in handy in the time of distress. You may come in and you want to do your business and you lose your document. Come in, come to us. We'll be able to get you traveling documents back home. We organize trade fairs and exhibition and market intelligence survey, and also advise on work permits. So we are strategically placed to support those who wish to get this market. Our contacts are shown below. Always share with us an email and we can get back to you. Okay, we have the do's. They don't. We try as much as possible to caution Kenyans that somebody will tell you that the governor is my brother, is my sister. That does not mean they are really close. You might fall in the hands of a con or a cartel. Do not get yourself in internal politics of this country or the politics of the East. The eastern part of DRC, whatever you know about it, keep away from it and just do your business. Even as you come and register with us, we'll let you know. Know that this is an Anglophone country, and this is a Francophone country and not Anglophone. So do not, English is not here. I mean, they look at you, you'll be shocked. But when you go to the east and to the south, the two zones, the two economic zones, we have Swahili speakers. At least there's a little bit of English, but Swahili is predominant in those areas. Be nice and cordial to our friends here. They are always looking forward to engage with us. No, there are also many cartels, and any help you get from a local, you'll pay for it, and it is in dollars. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. So, to my dear brothers back home, sisters who are doing export market in DRC, we cannot afford to lose this market. We cannot delay to get to this market. We, from the missions, are coming in handy to support you. Support you because we know of the benefit, the economic benefit we'll have as a country back home. But we also understand this is for the mutual benefit of the two countries. Keep in mind that your presence or your product presence in DRC will ultimately be able to move or be felt in the 9 countries around this, in the neighboring 9 countries around DRC. This is a market that is ready for our products. We are going to support you in terms of working on logistics. We understand logistics is a problem. But even with the current logistics, our products still fetch good prices in this local market. We have Farmer's Choice sausage that are selling in our local supermarkets. We have Kenya Seeds that are doing seed distribution. We have those who are interested to do beef, those who are interested to do to bring chicken. Kenchik is also in the east. They are trying to penetrate this market. There's that part in which you can play as an exporter. There's that part in which we can play as a government. We are coming in to support you. This is the time to venture to the market. It's not another time. This is the time. DRC will never be worse off than it has been. What you are hearing around, they are still maturing. Institutions are working. They might not be at the same level as Kenya, but they are working. This is a time to come and sell your product to DRC. Thank you very much. So for those who want to fly, to come to DRC, Kinshasa, Goma, no, Kenya Airways is there for you. You just need a passport and a yellow fever certificate. There are no entry visa requirements. In case of any other information, we have just a call away or an email away. We shall support you. Thank you very much, Karibuni. Asanteni sana. Back to the moderator.
Thank you so much, Eric, Mr. Eric Nabwana, for that exhaustively covered area on what are the opportunities that you can be able to find and consider if you try to enter the DRC market. And you must agree with me that he's really covered that area very well. And Mr. Nabwana, I can see so many requests for your presentation, so we will be sharing that at the end of this webinar. And also we'll give an opportunity for Mr. Nabwana to answer some of your questions at the end of this particular session when we have invited the rest of the presenters that are here today. As I promised, I'm going to be recognizing some of the MDs and even the participants that have joined, who are now over 144. Jumateli, CEO, Kenya Ships Agents, Mombasa. We have MD Kiganda Engineers, Francis Maina. We have Brian Moshiri, Home Comforts. Rajiv Joshi, CEO Sai Pharmaceuticals. Philip Kolil, CEO and founder Transcare Stoves. There's also Premier Bank Limited Somalia. Rashid Omar, you're standing in for your CEO. We also have Salma Ibrahim from Business Week Africa. Thank you for joining us also. We also have, as I said earlier, the team from Embassy of Moscow is also around. Thank you so much, led by the ambassador, Ambassador Irene Maswan. Thank you so much for making time for us. And the list continues. Thank you so much. We'll still be reading some of them and also giving you an opportunity to just share your questions. We'll be looking at them in the next few minutes, just after we finish our presentations. Just look at some of the questions that have come in and also that had come in earlier. Looking forward to the training in high hopes of trading our goods within the African continent. Great opportunity to grow in business. Looking forward to fruitful engagement. Those are all your expectations that we have received. And we say we are delighted for you to joining us today for sure. And, we admire your enthusiasm for this particular session. And as you learn about the opportunities presented by the African Continental Free Trade Area, this webinar will provide that comprehensive insights that you're looking into or you're looking for, so that you can be able to look at ways you can be able to navigate that particular market in DRC or even other markets under this particular framework. Right about now, I would want to recognize the presence of our next presenter, who is Gibson Adams from the State Department for Trade. And he's going to make a very short presentation, less than 10 minutes, on the state of play in the AfCFTA negotiations. Gibson Adams, kindly just unmute and then you can proceed. Gibson, can you hear me?
Good morning, Maureen. I can hear you.
Okay, you can proceed.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Gibson Adams Learusa from the Department for Trade. I'm a Senior Trade Development Officer in the State Department for Trade. And thank you so much for giving our State Department this opportunity to brief our stakeholders on the overview of AfCFTA. I believe by now I've seen our previous speaker has spoken about so much about AfCFTA, and I believe that we all know what AfCFTA is about. So I'll just give a brief status of what is AfCFTA so far. I have a small presentation to make. Let me just put on my video so that maybe it can be briefly seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Gibson tries to sort out his presentation, I would like to inform you that we are live on YouTube. You can share the link. The link will be shared on the chat. You can share with your friends so that they can be able to join the conversation. That is at Make It Kenya on YouTube. And you can also follow all our Make It Kenya social media platforms. And you can follow, like, share, and retweet all the content we're discussing today, which will be provided on those platforms. Remember, we are live also on YouTube at Make It Kenya. You can be able to share that link and get to engage. Gibson, are you ready?
Just a minute.
Or you can take through, or you can just talk through the presentation.
All right, all right. I don't know if I'm permission to share the screen. It looks like the sharing part does not.
The team will support you.
Yes, you have. Gibson, please go ahead.
But let me go on. Let me go on. Let me go on with. Right, what I'm going to cover this morning, I'm going to cover an overview of the AfCFTA, scope of phase 1 and phase 2 protocols. We have the AfCFTA operational instrument, as well as the AfCFTA institutional framework. That's what majorly I'm going to cover on AfCFTA. And the AfCFTA the scope of AfCFTA is large, and it covers, so it's a good number of protocols. And we say that AfCFTA is a single single continental African market with 55 member states of African Union, having been signed by 54 member states of the AfCFTA, and we have the 47 state parties that have ratified the agreement. It has a cumulative GDP of exceeding $3 trillion with a total population of 1.3 billion people, the African people in the continent. The AfCFTA agreement started trading in 1st January 2021, the beginning of January 2021. And the AfCFTA covers a number of protocol, and it has been kept in two phases. We have phase 1 and phase 2 issues. Under phase 1 issues, we have trade in goods, we have trade in services, and we have rules and procedures of settlement, of dispute settlement. And under phase 2, we have protocol investment, we have protocol on competition policy, protocol on IPR, we have digital trade, as well as women and youth in trade. So basically, that is what the whole scope of AfCFTA is about. It's a broad area of all these protocols, and I'm going to go overview of all these protocols, and let me just give a broad objective of what AfCFTA is about. We say AfCFTA is a flagship project of AU. It is under Agenda 2063, which is 6, to create a single continental market for goods and services. We have expand inter-Africa trade across regional economic communities and the continent in large. It's also promote and attain sustainable and inclusive development, gender parity, and structural transformation of AfCFTA state parties. It as well seeks to promote industrial development through regional value chains. We have agriculture, we have food security. It also enhances competitiveness of African economies and support economic transformation of the RECs. We have around 8 RECs of the African Union, which include the ECOWAS, EAC, we have SADC, we have COMESA, and we have IGAD, among some other RECs. So these agreements seeks to lay foundation for the establishment of a continental customs union. This agreement emphasized to establish a continental customs union at a later stage. currently just a free trade agreement at the moment, but the proponent of the AfCFTA, they have an agenda of making this AfCFTA as a continental customs union of AU member states. We have a big number of opportunities under AfCFTA. We have increased in market size and trade volumes in Africa. In Africa, we said we have 55 African member states. We have 1.3 billion people in Africa continent. And this agreement is already the largest free trade agreement in the world. So that's why we say that this agreement has a big market size. And when fully implemented, I'm pretty sure that the volume of trade among our African countries will definitely increase. We have also export growth. Of course, we have some estimate from the World Bank that it says that by 2030, the volume of total export will increase by almost 30% relative to business as usual. So increase in total exports within Africa, state parties will as such increase. We also have shared prosperity and poverty reduction. We know that we have among the poorest countries in the world that are in Africa. And when we trade among ourselves, we're able to reduce such a gap, and as well as increase our total global trade. And we also have welfare gains, such as increase in employment, as increase as well of in GDP. I've kept some statistics there. I think I will share the presentation later on. You'll be able to see the statistics. And I wanted to go over a few of this status of phase 1 and phase 2 negotiations, where we are at the moment. And under phase 1, I said we have trade in goods as well as trade in services. And under protocol trade in goods, we have a good number of annexes under protocol trade in goods. We have tariff concessions, we have rules of origin, we have custom cooperation, we have trade facilitation, NTBs, TBTs, and SPS. We have trade remedies. And under trade and services, we have specific commitment, MFN exemptions. We have list of priority sectors, and priority sectors around 5 sectors that they have chosen to tackle at the moment. And among them, we have financial services, we have communication, we have transport, we have information and ICT. So those are the 5 priority sectors that have been chosen to be negotiated at the moment. And we have as well the protocol rules and procedure for the settlement of disputes. We know when trade is there among our African member states, disputes must arise. And so that's why this protocol is there. Under phase 2, we have protocols on investment, we have competition policy, we have IPR, we have digital trade, we have women and youth in trade. And so under this, okay, to start with on protocol on trade in goods, of course, we know that still currently we have around 46 member states that have submitted their tariff offers to the AfCFTA. And I think a good number of them their tariff offers have been verified. I think we have 42 member states that are ready to trade in, because their tariff offers have been verified, and now they have been approved to be traded. And still this verification is going on, and it's still going on. So we believe that with time, all the 54 member states that have signed the agreement will be able to offer their tariff offers and be verified and be approved by the AfCFTA Secretariat. And as we have all this protocol, the first 2 issues on protocol investment, competition policy, intellectual property right, and digital trade, women and youth in trade, all these protocols have been adopted, and they are ready to be implemented. So there's something small remaining on digital trade and women and youth in trade. They have associated annexes under these protocols. So they are currently negotiating the annexes on digital trade and the IPR. So I've already talked about of ratification of member states. Let me go on AfCFTA operational instruments. So these operational instruments are the instrument that guides or aids in implementation of this of this agreement. We have a number of them. We have what we call AfCFTA Guided Trade Initiative. We have what we call PAPS, that's Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. We have NTBs. I know NTBs in almost all regional agreements, including EAC, including COMESA, and so it's a normal NTB, and it's online. There's an online reporting mechanism where you can report on NTB among the SFTA parties. We have e-tariff book. One talk of e-tariff book. E-tariff book is a digital instrument that SFTA Secretariat has developed, so that to aid the third parties to see which the specific rules of order that are applied in all product in the SFTA third party. So if a business person wants to maybe import a product from maybe a country like Ghana, you just go on to the e-tariff book. E-tariff book will guide you to see what tariff duties can I pay for that product, and so, and as well as the process, how can you be able to export and import that product from that particular countries. We have AfCFTA Guided Trade Initiative. This is an initiative from the AfCFTA that seeks to facilitate commercially meaningful trade among interested third parties. And so these are only for third parties, those third parties that have their tariff concessions have been approved and verified by SFTA Secretariat. So you can't be a member of GTI if still your tariff have not been approved. And so it's an operational as well as institutional, legal, and trade policy instrument under the AfCFTA that allow commercial meaningful trading under the AfCFTA. So it's like a testing instrument to see how much the third parties utilize these AfCFTA agreements. And initially, we have around 7 state parts of AfCFTA that have signed for this GTI. And Kenya was included. We had Kenya, Tanzania, Tunisia, we had Mauritius, we had Ghana, we had Cameroon. So around 7 state parties that initially joined this Guided Trade Initiative. And the functions for this GTI is we had, first of all, before the GTI came in, they set up some committee, what we call the ad hoc committee on those state parties. And the major functions is we have B2B connections among manufacturers, chambers of commerce, and other agencies. We had participation of stakeholders and authorities in third parties. We have customs, standard regulatory authorities. We had involvement of logistics, including shipping companies and various partners in the financial sector. So that's how the GTI was developed, and now it's in place. And under the GTI, Kenya was able to export a number of commodities that includes tea that we exported to Ghana in 2022. And as well as, I think recently we had South Africa that imported a number of products to Kenya under this GTI. And as well, we have an upcoming value-added tea we want to export to Ghana, to South Africa under this GTI. So let me talk about the AfCFTA institutional framework, about the AfCFTA Secretariat. So AfCFTA Secretariat is a key institution within the framework of the AfCFTA, with the overall mandate to coordinate administrative implementation of the AfCFTA agreement. Specifically, the AfCFTA Secretariat convene meetings monitor and evaluate implementation process, as well as perform functions assigned by the Council of Ministers and senior trade officials. So it's an overall body that governs these AfCFTA agreements, as I said, that the convening meetings as well as the ensure implementation of this AfCFTA. And this secretariat has entered into partnership with so many agencies globally, so that to ensure that this AfCFTA agreement has been implemented. And it is based in Accra, Ghana. That's where the secretariat is based. And that's to ensure the overall coordination and implementation of these AfCFTA agreements. That is that's my presentation, and I submit. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you so much, Gibson, for that presentation. We really appreciate the time you've taken to just talk to us about the frameworks that are happening under that AfCFTA. And we look forward to more of the questions that are coming in so that you can be able to provide some assistance to the participants that have joined this particular session. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for just giving us the opportunity to present to you what we have as opportunities under this framework that we're discussing today. And I would want you to take advantage of the Q&A section of the webinar so that you can be able to put your questions there. Kindly also remember to put your name and organization after your question, and we'll have the panelists that are in this session answering all your questions live, because I realize that we might not be able to have enough time to answer all the questions that are coming in, but make sure you take advantage of the Q&A section on this webinar on the Zoom platform. There's a Q&A section at the bottom. Take advantage of it, post your question there, and you'll get feedback promptly from all our panelists that are here. Let me read a couple of questions that are coming in that will also be providing answers at the end. How to market switchable smart film in Africa? Those are some of the questions that are coming in. What are the export opportunities for commodities from Kenya across Africa? I would like to share my experience on herbs, teas, and mushroom. Okay, that's good. We'll give you that opportunity later on if we have time. How can we be able to search for clients on coffee, nuts, and tea, and also travel? I want to package various edible grains for this African market, e.g. beans, rice, groundnuts, cashew nuts, macadamia, and peas. And we shall be providing all this feedback as we continue. But also please note that this particular framework we're talking about today offers immense opportunities for Kenyan businesses to export a wide range of products and services in the continent and beyond. So during this webinar, we'll still have more of the speakers delving into specific market prospects for sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, and services. Our speakers will also provide guidance on identifying viable export products, meeting regulatory requirements, just what Gibson has given us, and also connecting with potential buyers in various African markets. Additionally, we'll also encourage you to leverage on the panel discussions at the end of this session, and let's hear what we can be able to get as answers from our panelists. Moving forward, our next speaker, who I would encourage to take the shortest of time, is Godwin Baraza. Godwin Baraza is from the Kenya Revenue Authority, and he's going to be talking about facilitating exporters to access the AfCFTA market. Now, Godwin has been a Customs and Border Control Officer who is focused on trade facilitation while ensuring adherence to clearance procedures for imports and exports. So if you have any questions regarding imports, border control issues, and implementation of preferential trade regimes, he'll be able to answer that, so keep them coming. Remember, make use of the Q&A section in the Zoom conversations that we are here in the Zoom platform so that your answers can be facilitated by our panelists. All of them will be able to answer your questions. Thank you. Godwin, you okay now? Baraza, can take it away.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. Let me start by sharing my presentation first. Someone to confirm to me whether you have seen my presentation.
You've actually removed it.
I'm
Good.
putting it here.
Good. Proceed.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. I'm going to present on KRA initiatives as far as AfCFTA framework is concerned. So my scope of presentation, I'm going to start from the background. I'm also going to discuss the KRA initiatives to implement AfCFTA. We have ICMS configuration to support AfCFTA rates. And finally, we have a question and answer session. So this is a brief history that my colleague from Ministry of Trade has presented. AfCFTA was established in 2018, then into force in 2019. Then Kenya started trading under the initiative in January 2021. That's a brief history about AfCFTA. Now, what does the agreement require the state parties such as Kenya to do? We have some reasons why the agreement requires state parties such as Kenya need to do. One is to eliminate tariffs and non-tariff barriers to trade in goods. We have progressively make trade in services more open, where we'll be having a free flow of persons and services in and outside the country and across the continent. The agreement also requires Kenya to cooperate on trade, investment, intellectual property rights, and competition policy. The agreement also requires Kenya to cooperate on customs matters, to establish a mechanism for settlement of disputes, and also to maintain the institutional framework for implementation and administration of the AfCFTA framework. My other presenters have discussed about the opportunities as far as AfCFTA is concerned, where now it's creating the single market for our continent, Africa. Then we have the structure and scope of AfCFTA agreement, where it's now categorized into 3 phases. We have phase 1, we have phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 and phase 2, where we have under phase 1, we have protocol in trade in goods, and we have protocol in trade in services. We have protocol on the rules and procedures for the settlement of disputes, and phase 2, protocol on investment, competition policy, intellectual property rights, digital trade, women and youths in trade. Under these protocols, we have annexes. Protocol in trade in goods, it has 9 annexes, starting from tariff concessions towards dispute settlement. Protocol on trade in services, it has 5 annexes, aside from specific commitments. Protocol on the rules and procedures, it has 2 annexes. And phase 2, where we have other protocols on investment, competition policy, intellectual property rights, digital trade, women and youth in trade. Now, what are some of the key initiatives that KRA is undertaking to implement the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement? First of all, we have our focal points. That's now trade facilitation division, specifically rules of origin office. This is the office which deals with these preferential trade regimes, where we are able to issue the certificate of origin for both ESC, COMESA, for the 8 regs, that is ESC, COMESA, and now the AfCFTA. Now, another initiative is that now KRA under rules of origin, we have already shared our specimen signatures and impressions for our AfCFTA Secretariat, who has a well circulated to all member states, who have signed, ratified, and accepted to and deposited their trade instruments, to be precise. Also, KRA under rules of origin, we have procured trading documents. That's now the certificate of origin, the AfCFTA certificate of origin. Now, so far we have procured 15,000 certificate of origin. Another key initiative that KRA is undertaking to ensure that this initiative, the AfCFTA agreement, is implemented, we are having what we call continuous training. And of late, we have another training that is happening. We are training our key stakeholders at Radisson Blue, which is ending today. That's also part of the initiative that KRA is actually utilizing to ensure that the exporters, traders get to understand how this initiative is all about. Also, as my colleague Gibson talked about, the GTI, the Kaide Trade Initiative, the GTI is also another initiative that KRA under Rules of Origin is implementing to ensure that we tell our manufacturers, we tell our traders who wish to export under these initiatives where we are as a country. Kenya is now trading with Ghana. We have Togo, we have Cameroon. Now South Africa has also come into place. We have also KRA system. Now our ICMA system have been configured to accept the rates of products imported under AfCFTA. I'll be going to show you practically how the system have been configured, or if you are a declarant, how you are going to go about the system so that to get all these rates of duty. Remember, under AfCFTA, the rates of duty are not zero rated, but they are progressively being eliminated to 0%. Now, since Kenya, we started trading in 2021, and that now we are in 2024, it means we are trading at year 4. I'll show you how you go about it, and also I'll be able to show you how to access the AfCFTA website, especially on the e-tariff portal. Other initiatives that now, so far, KRA under Rules of Origin, we have issued 60 African Connect Free Trade Area certificates of origin, and the products treated so far, we have energy saving stoves, we have skin and hides, aluminum coils, honey, tea, fruit juices, and puree, cosmetics, we have automotive batteries, plastics, brooms, brushes, and Magadi soda. Magadi soda is basically for Tata Chemicals. They transferred to South Africa under this initiative. The destination of the markets have, as I've mentioned earlier, we have Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria, Togo, South Africa, Senegal, Mozambique. These are key KRA initiatives that we are implementing to ensure that AfCFTA initiative moves forward. These are sample certificates. I said we have procured so far 15,000 trading documents. One of the trading documents we have is now the AfCFTA certificate of origin. It's a proof of origin. It shows that these products are of Kenyan origin and requires preferential treatment. You can see how the certificate looks like from my top right. We have AfCFTA certificate of origin. We have the next column 2, column 1, where we have exporter, where we have to indicate the name and address. We have the consignee, name and address. Then this one is for official use only. Column 4, particulars of transport, if it's by sea, by air, by road, you indicate. Column 5, where marks and numbers. This now as per the consignment or by the cargo. Column 6, invoice number and date. Of course, you must provide the invoice, the export invoice number. You attach it on the certificate of origin. We have column 7, where it's talking about number and kind of packages. Then column 8, description of goods. Column 9 is talking about gross weight. Column 10 is talking about the quantity supplied. Column 11, now the tariff number, the HS code. Then column 12, the origin criteria. Remember, we have specific criteria that we normally follow, to say that this product is of Kenyan origin. Column 13, we have when now the declarant or the exporter himself has to declare that he owns the document. Then from he puts the stamp and signature. Then column 14 is where now our office, KRA office, certify that now the certificate of origin issued is authentic, where we stamp and sign. And also we include the export number, document number, again, the full name of the officer signing and the signature. Now, I want us to understand how does KRA implement AfCFTA in ICMS. Remember, ICMS is Integrated Customs Management System. This is the KRA system we are using for both export and imports. Now, I've told that when you log into the ICMS system, let's say as a declarant, you want to lodge an entry, we just go straight using your credentials, then you will go to the segments, the segment section where now you will put indicated code AFC. Remember, we are yet to have the procedure code for products under AfCFTA initiative. But the system has been configured where you just indicate the code AFC. Now this under additional code 2, I will be able to show the practical part of it in the item segment. Then ensure that you need to capture the country of origin. You need to capture the country of origin to show the rates of duty and how it has been reduced for the last 4 years. Now, this is how our system looks like. It has already been fed. I just picked it to use it as an example. When you log in, it will just bring straight you to general segment section where now you'll be able to fill in the details of the exporter, the consignee, and what have you. Then you will proceed to item segment where now item segment, you'll have to indicate the commodity code. Now that's the HS code. For example, I used for products of chapter 3303. That's why I inserted 3303. Then on tariff side, you have additional code 1 and additional code 2. Under additional code 2, we have a drop down. This drop down now will give you this code, as I said, AFC code. Remember, the moment you insert the commodity HS code, it will be able to give you the description of the goods as per the harmonized system booklet. And then ensure that under number 34, you have to we have a drop down. You indicate which country, the specific country you are exporting to. Now, for my case here, I used Ghana. As you have seen, Ghana is here now. We move to the next slide. Where now you go to attachments. Attachments ensure that you attach under this segment the commercial invoice, the packing list, and also the certificate of origin. And from there, we go to the next slide. Now it will be able to show you how these rates of duties are reduced. Now for this product, the rate of duty was at 5%. Now you see it has reduced until it's at 28%. That's how AfCFTA have been configured in our system to pick this preferential rate of duty. Again, I also want to discuss how to navigate about the AfCFTA website. If you want to get the tariff, the reduced tariff, this is how you go about it, and it has 3 steps. You have step 1. Now, when you just normal Google, you just Google AfCFTA website, then this is the first page where it will lead you to. Then you proceed to operational instruments. We have a drop down there. You follow the AfCFTA e-tariff book. You follow that link. Then you come to step 2. After you have opened the link for AfCFTA e-tariff, it will now bring you to step 2, where now it has also directs you to proceed under e-tariff portal. Now, when you click on this one, this is how the page will look like. We have search by map for importing third party, search by keywords. Now we are going to search by keywords. Now I am exporting from, you indicate the country where you are exporting from. Now let's say, for example, Republic of Kenya. That's why I've picked Republic of Kenya. Now you are importing into where you are importing, you are transferring your goods to. I've used an example of Cameroon. Then you have language here, it's in English. You have a drop down, you can just choose which language you want to use, English, French, or Arabic language. Now you search for product. For you to arrive here, you need to indicate the product HS code, or you just put the description of the product. Then from there, you begin search. Now, after you begin search, we go to the next slide. This is how the page will look like. After you have searched your products. Now, for this product, you will see now the categorization. For this one, this now AfCFTA category. This product of chapter 3302 is of category C. Then MFN rate is at 10%. Now, 2021 was still at 10%. 2022 was also still at 10%. And then now we are at 2024. It is still at 10%. Then it will start reducing from 2026, meaning this product has a time frame of 6 years before it starts reducing its rate of duty. Now, they have given their time frame of until 2033 when their product will be at 0%. This one example. I'm also going to show you another example that I did. Sorry, I think I didn't capture it. But if let's say if you come from, let's say, a textile, or you come from an oil industry, you just insert. If you classify your product under heading 2107, you just insert 2107, you're exporting from, importing into, then language, then you begin search. It will be able to show you how these tariff lines have been categorized and how the rates of duty have been reduced. And also be able to, it will also be able to show you the time frame in between. If it's for 10 years, it will also show you how it will be broken down for that 10 years. If it's for 7 years, it will also show you that the same. If it's for 20 years, it will also show you the same. Now, there is no requirement for a new CPC. As I said, when you go to our ICMS system, you just go to item segment, proceed to tariff search, then additional code 1 and additional code 2. You proceed to additional code 2. Where now we have a drop down, you will not find the CPC regime code. But the thing you'll find there is now the AfCFTA, AFC code, which we are currently using for us to be able to enjoy this preferential treatment under AfCFTA agreement. Our certificate of origin, FCA certificate of origin, costs $3. These are normal visas provided for in East African community. In East African Community Management Regulation 2010, we have Regulation 216, and there is no additional processing charge or fee. And you have to attach AfCFTA COO at the time of declaration, where you are lodging an export, ensure that, and this export is headed to, let's say, a country like Ghana, ensure that you attach the AfCFTA COO in the attachment section for the to fast track clearance of your product. As far as we have this initiative, remember also there are some challenges. We have sometimes loss of revenue from import duties, through liberation of trade in goods, implementation of various rules of origin which are complex in nature. You see now we have what we call, we have so many regs in Africa, the 8 regs. So Kenya is in other trading blocks, let's say like the ESC and COMESA. But remember, we have a principle under AfCFTA that says preservation of acquis. It means AfCFTA is just developing on the existing regs. Okay, AfCFTA is just developing on the existing regs. Now, basically, if we are trading under COMESA and ESC, remember ESC, we are at the highest level of integration. As of now, we are at the customs union level. COMESA, we are at a free trade area level. So AfCFTA, it's not 100% zero rated its duties. We are still on a reducing scale. So if you find achievement headed to Egypt, we prefer you to use commercial certificate. If you find a shipment headed to, let's say, to Tanzania, we allow you to use ESC certificate. If you find a shipment headed to, let's say, to Cameroon, that's now when we'll allow you to use the AfCFTA. Because basically for this, until 2063 or until the time AfCFTA will attain the Continental Customs Union level, is when we'll drop all other regs so that we move as a single continent. But as at now, if we are within ESC, if we are within COMESA, with that principle, we are as well, we will have this reservation that now continue exporting under ESC and also continue exporting under COMESA. We have also limited awareness to stakeholders.
Godwin, we seem to have lost you. Hello, Godwin. Godwin, can you hear us? Okay, I think we seem to have lost Godwin. Maybe you could give him a few minutes. Then he'll come back and we can be able to just hear his finishing remarks. But I think he's just exited. So what we'll do, we'll allow him to answer a few questions at the end of the session. But thank you so much for that practical session on the ICMS system and how we can be able to access the system and get clearance for our goods in the market. Thank you so much for that session. Thank you, Godwin, for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to end our show and our webinar. Let me call it show, because this has really been an interactive session we've had today. In a few minutes, we'll continue to have 3 more speakers who will quickly take us through several areas that are really important when we're trying to access this markets under the AfCFTA. Right about now, I want to call upon Christine Mugure to be setting up as we continue to request you to go to the Q&A section where we are answering all your questions through the panelists that are available today. And we will be able to give you as many answers as possible. Christine, thank you so much. I can see you are setting up. Christine facilitates trade at KenTrade by enabling exporters and importers access trade information and procedures from the Information for Trade in Kenya portal. She'll talk about that. And also the processes documentation through the National Electronic Single Window System. She can be able to tell us what that is and how you can be able to access that. Karibu, Christine. I'll give you less than 10 minutes. I hope you can take that. Thank you. Christine, you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Kindly proceed. Okay, Christine, we can't hear you now. We've lost you.
And now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, I'll just briefly tell you about KenTrade. It's a state corporation under the National Treasury, whose mandate is to implement the National Electronic Single Window System as per the Single Window System Act of 2022. And apart from this, KenTrade has brought on board other government agencies that regulate commodities for export and import. So before the 2012, when KenTrade was launched, traders had lengthy and long procedures to access services from government agencies. This process was not automated, so traders took long to get permits and licenses that they need to have them approved before export. And this led to a lot of congestion at the port of Mombasa, hence that's why the single window system came into place. And as per the UN CFAT recommendation, a single window system is a facility that enables traders to lodge standardized documents at a single entry point, which is the single window system, for export, import, and transit related requirements. So here we have a trader who will lodge into the single window system. On the right, we have the other government agencies that are integrated with the single window system for purposes of clearance of cargo for export. So for example, KEFIS, if a trader is exporting a product like tea, they will need a phytosanitary certificate, and KEFIS will approve this. So traders will apply these permits on the single window system, and the relevant government agencies will approve upon payment of the fees required to get these documents. So, and this is just an integration of this single window system with the ICMS and other government agencies that have their own systems, standalone systems. So for example, here on the left, we have a trader will access the KRA system when exporting, declare the goods, and then this will trigger maybe a permit for the trader to apply, depending on the on whether that commodity requires a permit or a license. Then we'll make payment. Approval is made by the relevant government agency, and once it's approved, then KRA can proceed and release this cargo for export. So apart from the single window system, Kentrade has also launched or put in place a platform, an online platform that enables traders to access information, especially the first-time traders. They're able to access information on how to export, import, or transit goods in the country. So please allow me to get off this presentation, and then I'll go to the information for trade in Kenya portal so that I can demonstrate what a trader requires to do, where do they go, what do they get, what fees are required when when they are accessing procedures during export. So just allow me to exit.
Christine, are you done? Christine?
She's setting up for the next part. Let's
I'm
kindly
trying to
allow her to
access
do
it.
that.
You just allow me.
Yes, allow her to do that. As she does that, kindly check on our chat. We've shared the survey where you can be able to provide us with information, whether you have carried so far, we have so far met your expectations in this webinar, or if you have any issues that you would want to raise in terms of feedback or questions, you can share with that on the survey on the chat. Christina, are you okay?
No, not yet. I'm still not able to share this.
Okay.
Trying just a minute.
Okay. As she does that, kindly remember to just take a few minutes and answer some few questions. It will only take you a minute on the survey that's on the chat as we wait for Christine to set up her presentation. And also remember, you can be able to watch us live on YouTube, that is Make It Kenya, and also all our social media platforms is the same. That will be able to provide you with more information if at all you miss something that has been shared in this recording. Christine, are you okay now?
Just a minute, please.
Okay. Okay. So maybe
can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can now.
Sorry, I was
okay.
Okay, this is the InfoTrade Kenya portal. This is a free website that allows first-time traders to get information on how to export, import, or transit goods in Kenya. And this was in compliance with Article 1.2 of the WTO TFA, whereby member states were required to have websites whereby traders can access trade information. So I'll straight away go to the portal, or now traders can be able to search procedures, export procedures for certain commodities. So we've documented about 125 commodities on this portal, whereby we give the export procedures. And for example, if we are exporting tea, I will just search this. You will just search on this search button, and then you will go to the next. Once you do the search, sorry, my internet is a bit slow. So this is a free website that does not require any trader to log in. So the URL is infotradekenya.go.ke. Unlike the single window system whereby traders are allowed to, are required to have access credentials to access the system. So this is just a free website for information. So on the export of tea, once you search, you'll get these 4 banners, the various registrations that are required for a first-time trader to export tea. So the TBK registration, tea registration certificates, I may not go through all of them because of the time constraint. And then the permits required. A trader will be required to avail all these permits. Tea export release order from the Tea Board of Kenya, phytosanitary certificates for tea exporters, certificates from the portals. And then we have also documented clearance procedures for this commodity. So tea is exported only through the port of Mombasa currently and the airport. So procedures for tea export through the port of Mombasa. So on the left, you'll get the number of steps that the trader will need to fulfill. And then on the right, we will have the institutions that the trader will visit. Once you visit those institutions or make the application, the result, what will you get? Is it an export permit or? So through the portal, this is just an example. First, you contact a clearing agent. And of course, he will do for you the declaration on the ICMS. Then after that, you get the documents from the EATTA. Those are the delivery orders after you've paid the fees from the auction. Then let me just go to KEFI's release. For example, if you need a phytosanitary certificate, application is online, where you can see this globe. This is an online step. So the trader will submit a request to get the phytosanitary certificate, and
Christine, I think we've lost you. Hello, Christine, can you hear us? Oh, I think we've lost Christine. Let's allow her to come back. Godwin, you needed to complete your presentation. Is that in order as we wait for Christine to log in? I
Yes,
think
yes,
you
ma'am.
had left with only one slide, eh?
Like I lost my internet.
Yes, as we wait for Christine, who's dropped off, I think we can wind up with you. Then we go to the next speaker.
Let me just share my. Let me just share my presentation. So I had already discussed about the AfCFTA website, how you navigate about it. I showed you how you can search commodities plus the tariff rates on the website. I've also explained how the cost of our certificate of origin, also the challenges and the way forward. I just wanted to discuss about the instruments. This was my last slide about the instruments. You have the GTI, the Kairi Trade Initiative. As Gibson said, these are the countries that has already deposited their trade instruments with Kenya, and they are trading with Kenya. Then we have the intra-African trade where you can now guess what you have. This basically to boost our trade across the continent, where now we will be able also to engage or to use our political stakeholders so that to market your products across the continent. This is the platform you will have to use. We have also the PAPS. This is now a Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. It's basically a cross-border financial management instrument enabling payment across Africa. It will encourage instant payments in local currencies, no matter where you are stationed. The moment you get your cash, you can transact electronically using the PAPS in your own local currencies. We have the rules of origin manual. It's on the website. You can visit the AfCFTA website. The document section, you'll find the manual. We have the e-tariff book. I've already explained about the e-tariff book, and now the certificate itself. Those are just the trading instrument under AfCFTA. And that is the end of my presentation. If you want to reach out to us, we have rules of origin at kra.go.ke, or you can send to me, godwin.barasa@kra.go.ke. We have our office number plus my mobile number. I've seen in the question and answer chat box, someone asking for my mobile number is here. If you want more clarification, any clarification on certain issues, I'm readily available. You can reach out to me at any given moment. And thank you. I submit. You, Maureen.
Thank you. Thank you, Godwin, for that. Christine, I can see you're back. We'll post all these presentations. We'll share all these presentations on your email. So kindly allow us to do that. Christine, you can be able to project and complete your presentation.
Oh, sorry. I have an internet challenge.
No problem. We understand. Maybe, Godwin, you could exit and allow Christine to take that up. We have a few more minutes, then we will be able to address a few questions. We still have the panelists still online waiting to answer your questions. Eric, Nabwana, you have a lot of questions, so we'll give you that opportunity to answer your questions. We also have Tobias Ololo, who's next after Christine, who will be talking about KEBS and how compliance to standard enhances exporter competitiveness. And finally, we'll have Peterson Nachua, who from Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, talking about the opportunities and how to leverage on them, the case of Ghana and Cameroon. And then we'll finalize with KQ, Isaac Mwangi, who will talk about KQ's role in facilitating trade. Christine, are you still there?
Hello, I'm here.
I was giving you time to set up.
Just a minute.
Okay, we still have the Q&A session that is online, and we have all our panelists trying to answer the questions that we are getting. So kindly use that Q&A session button and ask your questions. Proceed, Christine.
Okay, this is the information for trade in Kenya portal. This is a one step-by-step guide to foreign trade procedures for export, import, and transit. So for a first-time trader, you want to search the process for export procedures, for example, tea. You choose the operation, export of tea. Note that we have implemented or documented procedures for about 125 commodities, both export, import, and transit procedures. So I'll just take an example of tea. So for the first-time traders, this is the URL to access this portal. It's a free website. You don't need a password to access it, unlike the single window system. So the URL is infotradekenya.go.ke. So also during your own free time, you can access this video. We have a video here, which is a guide for someone accessing the portal for the first time. So export procedures for tea, I'll just click on this arrow for the search. So this portal was implemented in 2017, and we've been sensitizing traders, first-time exporters, especially from the counties, to access this portal. So once you come on this first homepage, this search, you'll get 4 banners. I see they are not displaying here. So we have the preliminary registrations and licenses and certificates that the traders will need. These are mandatory for a first-time trader. Some of them, especially the licenses, are renewed annually. So this is the process flow. First will be the TBK registration, Tea Board of Kenya. And then for the registration certificate still, then you'll need to you'll need to register with KEFIS also for the phytosanitary certificate. You'll also need to register with the East Africa Tea Trade Association. Then, of course, with the trade facilitation platform, that's the single window system for application of the permits. Then you need to register with the KRA rules of origin for CFTA, for the CFTA rules of origin certificate. And then food ID license from portals. You know, tea is a food product, so that is a mandatory requirement. Then for the permits are these documents which accompany the consignment. So the tea release order, the phytosanitary certificates, all these will accompany a consignment each time you export. And then we have also the clearance procedures for the export of tea through the port of Mombasa. And then procedures for a first-time trader. If you are exporting for the first time, you will need to undergo about 47 steps for you to be able to fulfill the export of this tea consignment. On the left here, we have the number of steps that a trader will undergo. On the right, we have the summary of this procedure. And first, the institutions involved, the ones I was talking about, the Tea Board, the KEFIS, and the like. And then the results, what do you get when you visit KEFIS or you apply the phytosanitary certificate? These are the results. Then the required documents, it's what a trader is required to attach on that application. So this was what I was talking about. So on the left, the steps, apply for registration certificate. I'll not go through all of them, but this is just a summary of them, 47 steps. On the right, we have the institutions that the trader will need to make these applications. Where there's a globe, it means that this procedure is online. So most of the government agencies have automated their procedures. And then we have the results. For example, if you visit KEFIS, what do you get? And then the requirements, what attachments do the trader require? We have put samples there as a guide.
Christine,
Hello,
we're not able to see the processes. You're talking about a process you're not seeing.
You're not seeing?
Yeah, there's a process you're talking about, and the participants are asking to see the process.
What? Because I've shared my screen. You cannot
Yeah, but
see?
it's not moving. It's not
It's not
moving.
moving.
That's the
Yeah, because
challenge.
on my side, it's moving. Then now I don't know. On my side, it's moving. Actually, I'm scrolling up and down. What
Maybe
about
just
now?
proceed. Just proceed. Maybe we'll take time
Okay.
when we are done. Maybe we'll
Okay.
take time, personal time to just go through the website.
Okay. All right. So this website gives a step-by-step guide up to the end. Once the trader has acquired all the certificates and the permits that are required, then last the release will be done by KRA and KPA for loading of the cargo to the ship. So because you cannot see the screen, then maybe we'll have to go through this later, because this is a step-by-step guide from the start to the finish, up to the 47 steps. So maybe we will go through it maybe later. Thanks, Maureen. I think that's it from my end.
Thank you so much, Christine. Despite the challenges, you've really taken us through this platform, and we appreciate for you taking your time through this. I'd like to call upon the next speaker, who is Tobias Ololo, who will talk about how compliance to standard enhances exporters' competitiveness in accessing AfCFTA markets. Tobias, can you hear us from Kenya Bureau of Standards?
Yes, Tobias can hear you. I hope you can as well hear me.
Yes, we can. You can proceed.
I don't know whether I should show my video, but I know I'm pretty known to some. Then they will collect taxes. But surprisingly, in this case, you put standards last. But for your information, it is because of this kind of arrangement that traders get stuck. Once they reach the destination market, they are told, okay, you pay duties, you followed all the procedures, but sorry, we can't accept your products because they are not complying. And then they are forced to ship back. So always put standard forward. And I've tried to answer a lot of questions on standards. What is the standard for tea? So just as a food for thought, always bring standard first, because you have to meet the destination market requirements, and most of it is all about standards and SPS. So that was just by the way. And another by the way, Maureen, is that I've seen people asking on how they can be able to access, how they can be able to know that, okay, is my tea has a market in these African countries. How do you know? It can only have a market one. Of course, you might have the buyer, but then this thing is not liberalized. So there are two cases where you have the buyer, but the product is not liberalized. So you have the market, but the product is not liberalized. You'll be forced to now pay the normal duty. So the only way you can do that is to visit the African Trade Observatory portal. I think there was a presentation that was done by someone from CAM, is called Kamau. If you can get that presentation, it will really help a lot of those issues on people asking how do they know where they can sell their product, whether it is liberalized, which category are their products, it is category A, B, C, and all that is found in the African Trade Portal. If you could just log in, or you could get that presentation and then share with the members. But I've tried to answer some of those questions. So let me just take my presentation, which is going to be very brief, and I will just focus on how standards can allow enhance competitiveness and mostly enhance market access. So let me just share my screen shortly with you. I hope you are able to see my screen. Can you see my screen? Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, so let me put it on a PowerPoint. Are you able to see it now properly?
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah, so that is compliance to standards for market access. So I want to talk about EBS. You know what we do, where we are. So I will not talk about that. Neither will I talk about, I think the number for the African countries that have ratified and signed and ratified is more than 47. I think the last time I might be 48. I'm not sure, but then the countries that have signed are all, but ratification is still, but almost. But the current number is 55, not 54. So that was already alluded by many speakers, so I won't talk about that. So one thing you all know about conformity assessment is the foundation of market access. So when you talk about conformity assessment, you mean about testing, inspection, certification, and etc. And they are all based on standards. So how is compliance to standards enhance competitiveness? So if your product does not comply, first of all, will it be able to access the market, even if you have not started thinking about being competitive? So competitiveness comes in the sense of the quality. How good is your product in terms of performance? So if it's not performing, it means it's not meeting the standards, and therefore it won't be competitive because not so many customers will go for it. But if it's meeting the standards, and of course the harmonized standards in this case, apart from being competitiveness, you'll be able to access a larger market. So I will want to just to show you in terms of the AfCFTA, how is this going to help? Somebody who want to export tea, for example, had already asked a question. What is the standard for tea? And this should be either an EAC if it is DRC, because I think DRC is a member of EAC, or it can also be an ARSO. ARSO is the African Organization for Standardization, which is also developing standards for use by the AfCFTA market. And so we have this type of standards. Of course, as you know, we have the national standards, or to start us off also, we have the industry standards. Here is whereby the industry has a standard which in many cases are higher than the national standards, and they would like their product to be certified based on their own standard. That's possible and it's doable. And then, of course, we have Kenya standards. In Kenya standards, we have indigenous Kenyan standard. That means the standard that is developed nationally. Then we also have a harmonized EAC. If you see EAC standards, once we adopt them, they become Kenyan standard, but they are harmonized and adopted. Then we also adopt standards for ARSO. Of course, COMESA, SADC, and ECOWAS. SADC have their own standards, ECOWAS the same, but COMESA is using the standards developed by ARSO, as well as AfCFTA. Annex 6, that is the annex on TBT, refers you to use ARSO standards where African countries want to trade, and there is no existing international standard to do so. So the Annex 6 encourages the use of ARSO standards, of which T is one of the ARSO standards that have been harmonized. So that is the level of standards we have. Then, of course, as was already been said, so you have a single market of 55 member states. That's about a population of 1.2 billion. And you can imagine if you can access that market just because of one standard that has been developed by ARSO. So the first starting point is to find out, of course, this product is already certified by KEBS, for example, and you want to export it to DRC. So you would find out whether the standard which has been used to certify this product, is it a Kenyan standard or is it an EAC standard? Is it applicable in DRC or not? So those are the starting points, so that when you have your product tested and certified, it is tested on the right standard that will allow you market access and therefore be competitive in that market, because then your product will be of good quality, comparable to even higher quality compared to the products in that market. So that's the starting point that you may need to find out before you start the process of exporting. Yes, this product is certified by KEBS, and you will see in the certification the standard which has been used. Can that allow you to export to another African market, because we certify for the Kenyan market, but sometimes you might be interested to a destination market through which we may not have adopted or harmonized a specific standard. So you can request your product to be tested against that destination market requirements. That's something that is very important for traders to take note. So I may just take you through this one I've already mentioned. If you look at Annex 6, that is Annex part of the agreements that was mentioned by Gibson. If you remember, he mentioned about TBT. So TBT is where the issues of standards are found. So, and it just says that member states or state parties, in AfCFTA, we use state parties. State parties shall cooperate in areas of standards, technical regulations, conformity assessments, as I've already indicated. You have accreditation, metrology, and including harmonization of standards. So that is where ARSO is finding its relevance in AfCFTA, because the next part of that article says that we shall promote the adoption of standards that have been developed by ARSO. AfCFTA is, of course, an African standardization body that deals with the electrotechnical standards. So why standard? You all know what a passport is. So without a passport, you can't move. Yes.
I want to give you 2 minutes.
Yes. So I want to move straight to. I can see. So I just wanted to show you some of the standards we've done under ARSO. So as KEBS, we are part of the harmonization of standards at ARSO. So we have done quite a lot of standards. So what I will do after my presentation, I will share the ARSO catalog so that you can share with the traders. They can check which standards for which products they would want to export to which country that they can use, so that they don't go there and then they find that their products have been tested against the wrong standards. So I don't want to take you through the reasons why we need to harmonize. Of course, that's the I don't like being harassed, because sometimes technical issues are very difficult to summarize. So the most important key thing we need to do as Kenya or DRC, if we are not having this kind of an arrangement called mutual recognition arrangement, the same thing we have in EAC, so that one test, one certificate is accepted by all, is to have a mutual recognition arrangement, which is already happening at the AfCFTA level. So I hope it will work out soon, but DRC is still not part of that process, but I hope they will join. So thank you. I think you made me to summarize, but I'm here to answer questions.
Thank you, Tobias. I'm so sorry for harassing you.
Yeah, but it's okay.
My apologies.
It is very difficult to summarize issues of technical.
My apologies. I think we'll provide more time next time for you to present wholly the whole presentation. But thank you so much, Tobias Ololo, for that presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, and our panelists, kindly post your contact details, your email addresses and telephone numbers that the participants can be able to reach you out on the chat section, because I can see we are really losing a lot of time. At 1 o'clock, this particular webinar will end immediately at 1 o'clock. I want to give an opportunity to Isaac Mwangi, 2 minutes. You make your very few words, and then we'll allow Peterson to sum up everything we've had, and then we'll have, I think, 1 or 2 questions only. Isaac, are you still on? I don't seem to see him in our chat, so I will allow Peterson. Peterson, make your last few remarks and then sum up everything so that you can go to at least 2 questions that you can be able to answer. Peterson?
Yes, I'm here. And good afternoon, members. And
You're very low. Please raise your voice. You're very low. Add volume.
good afternoon, members. And I want to thank you for your patience since we started this program. I want to present something small here to you. And I hope that it will help. It's not coming through. Just a minute.
Peterson, we can't hear you at all. Very faint.
This one? Hearing me now?
Yes, properly. Yes, we can. We give you 2 minutes.
Okay, I wanted to make a presentation on why we need to export to Ghana and Cameroon. It's not coming through. Share. It's not share. Yeah, but as it's coming through, I want to say that these are two countries that we've had who are already on the GTI. GTI program, and they are also members, founding members of the AfCFTA, and they have potential opportunities for Kenyans to exploit. Let me just make a comment without the presentation because I can see it's not coming through, to say that okay. Has it come through?
Yes, and then put it
Okay,
into
okay,
presentation.
thank you. Why do we choose to go to Ghana? One is that this is a very stable economy, and we have had good relations between the two countries, which started cooperating way back since independence. And this is also a country which we can use as a stepping stone towards the AfCFTA. And so, I mean, the ECOWAS 15 member countries with a population of 424.34 million. And so we have also had a session early last month, the other month, with our head of state who visited, and he witnessed the signing of 4 MOUs between trade support institutions, the Chamber, the Kenya Invest, the KAM, and Kenya School of Government. You've listened from DRC in the morning, and you saw that for you to get in there, you need the collaborative effort of this institution to enable you to get the opportunities, to enable you to get the document that you may require to get into that country. And we've already started trading with this country. Under the GTI, we've sent our tea and chlorindexide, and we have identified a number of products that are potential for that market. And we've done the same for Cameroon. Just one point to say that Ghana took the initiative to set up a Ghana house here. And for us to address the logistical challenges that exist between us and that market, we are ready to, we are planning to open a Kenya house in Accra, and our counterpart, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, has committed to support us to open that outfit. And we are optimistic that once that is done, we'll be able to promote the Made in Kenya products. So let me just show you the number of products that we've identified to market in that country. I want to believe that you are seeing all that because I'm being told I have 1 minute. And so I want to invite you, I'll share this presentation after this session to go through, and if you have any questions to ask, you can let me know because I've already given my email. Over to Cameroon. This is the first consignment that we did under the GTI, and those are the products that were identified. This is what we sent, the chlorhexidine and our catheter. And these are some of the documents that have been alluded to earlier. So, and Cameroon is also a member of the GTI because it belongs to the central, the one of the RECs in the Central African Republic, and it's bordered by about 7 countries. And so once you locate in that country, you'll be able to access Nigeria, Chad, Central African Republic, DRC, Congo, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, all those countries, and many others. So the 10 of them. So I want to stop at that and invite you to go through my presentation. And if there is any question, I'll be able to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peterson, for that. I'm really sorry I've done it again, harassed you the same way I did Tobias, but I think we have only 2 minutes. Because we are not able to even take any questions, I will just ask if we can get Eric. Eric, please share all your contacts so that we can be able to get the participants to reach out to you. I hope you've shared that on the chat line. And if you have any questions, we'll get back to you and answer each and every question as requested. Right about now, to recall upon Ruben Wanjala to just send us home with a word of prayer. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to, share with you what we had about this framework. Request you to kindly just answer the survey questions that come after this session when you log out. Thank you so much. I have been your moderator today, Maureen Mambo. Thank you very much. Ruben.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maureen, for seeing us through the moderation session. So first, before we salute off, I just want to recognize the great effort of our panelists, Eric Nabwana, who is a commercial attaché in DRC. We celebrate you for the detailed, really detailed information you have gone to unravel and share with us. Vanna Gibson Adams from the State Department for Trade, our mother ministry, we celebrate you. We also celebrate Godwin Barasa from Kiare, Christine Mgure from Entrade, and the last person who just presented is Tobias Ololo from KEBS. We celebrate you so much. We also celebrate all the various participants. We had CEOs from various enterprises. We had foreign embassies abroad, from Moscow, from Zambia. We celebrate you so much. And my colleagues within Keproba, led by our CEO, and then Peterson as the head of directorate, who has put together this. We celebrate you. We celebrate Maureen as our moderator and all the staff who have made this possible. Wherever you are, may God bless you so much. And we pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father, we thank you for this session. We thank you that we invited you to see us through. We thank you for the intelligence we have shared with our participants. We thank you even for giving them the time to participate in this. I will pray, Lord, that this discussion will end up adding value to our enterprises, because it will increase whatever comes to their table. Thank you even for various participants, especially panelists who put together the very important information. May you go with them and bless them. And for all of us, as we embark on the rest of the day's activities, may God bless us in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you and have a blessed afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Remember to please answer our survey, and have yourself a wonderful afternoon.